What is up, everyone? We are back for another video. This is one I've been wanting to do for a couple days now. This is an unboxing, but it's kind of a different style of unboxing because they're already out of the box. They're all right here. I think these three teams shouldn't give much away of what season it is. I'm going to talk about it real quick, and then we're going to go through the season, and we're going to go through why I bought this season, and we're going to take a look at some stats, and I'm going to tell you what my first game is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to play the first game. Today's Friday, and I'm going to play the first game tomorrow, Saturday. So we got three stacks of cards here. I'll give you a bit of a hint if I separate this one out a little bit. This one here, this is kind of a stack of its own, and this is two stacks of its own. That's because this is NFL and this is AFL. AFL is something that I wish I would have been around to see. I feel like I would have been a huge fan of the AFL just because of the offense was there. It was more fun. Or not more fun, but it seemed like it'd be more fun to go to a game, to watch a game. There's a particular player in the AFL that I really like, even though I've never seen him play live. I've only seen him play in like all the highlights, and I've heard him being talked about. And as I said in one of my videos earlier this week, he's got a great nickname and a great number, and I'm excited to play with him. And I did not have him in any of my other sets except he was in the 1972 set playing for Dallas. That was his last year, and Dallas was not his original team. He spent most of his career with somebody else. And some of you might be screaming at the screen right now who it is. Some of you may not. But let me talk a little bit more here. Let me just get the NFL out of here because, again, this is an AFL team. This is not an NFL team. So let me just get them out of there. And let me just pull these teams in. There are 8 AFL teams. You've got Boston Patriots, I would assume. You've got Buffalo. You've got New York. That's the Jets. You've got Houston, you've got Oakland, you've got Denver, you've got Kansas City, and you've got the team that this player plays for, and that is San Diego. Now, I did not know the standings, the stats, or anything like that when I picked this particular team this season. But then I started looking at it, and holy cow, it is the 1965 season. And if you look at the 1965 season, the Chargers actually went 9-2-3. They went 9-2-3. They had 3 ties. Holy cow, that's a lot of ties. Scored 340 points. That was the most in the league. And that right there, I looked at that and went, yeah, I want to play this. This is going to be fun. Now it looks like they lost to Buffalo in the AFL championship game, 23-0, which is kind of surprising. Buffalo 10-3-1. I haven't looked at their team yet. In fact, let's look at them first. I haven't looked at them yet. So let's see. Buffalo, you've got anybody that I recognize. You got Stu Barber. He's a tackle 4. Let's see. I'm not going to recognize the names. You got Butch Bird. Oh, shoot. Let me go back to here so we can see this better. There we go. You've got Butch Bird. He's a cornerback 5. Holy cow. That's good. You got Ray Carlton. Yeah, I don't really know these guys. Look at this guy. Tom Day. He's a offensive lineman 3 and a defensive lineman 4. So he must have been a pretty good player. Let's see. I don't know. Give me some of the skill players. Charlie Ferguson. Is he related to Joe Ferguson, who also played for the Bills? I don't know. George Flint. Pete Gogolak. I know that name. But I didn't know he played for Buffalo. I feel like I know that name. He is a kicker. Let's see. Still going through some of these. Tom Janik. This guy's name's just Billy Joe. You add an L on the end of Joe, and you got the greatest musician of all time. That's nice. All right. Jack Kemp. Well, that's a name I know. He's a QB 5. How does he look? He doesn't have a lot of low numbers, though. I mean, look at 35. It's a 14. That's a fumble number. 25 is a 10. Wow. He's a QB 5, but he doesn't have a lot of high numbers. That's kind of strange. Daryl LaMonica. I know that name. Paul McGuire, the punter. He was a TV guy for a long time. I recognize him. Okay. Joe O'Donnell. I mean, they got a lot of 3s and 4s. Oh, Marty Schottenheimer played for them. I didn't know that. I love Marty Ball. Marty Schottenheimer. He was a linebacker too. He wasn't very good. I didn't know that he played for them. There's a couple of 5s. There's Tom Seastack, a defensive tackle 5, and Billy Shaw, a guard 5. They got some 5s there. What else we got? Mike Stratton. They must have had a hell of a defense. There's another 5. Linebacker Mike Stratton is a 5. Yeah. Let's see. And that's it. Yeah, that's it for Buffalo. So Buffalo, as I said, they won the whole thing that year. All right, another phone call. I swear, people only call me when they know I'm recording videos. It's the weirdest thing. But the only 2 people that call me have now called me in the last 3 hours, so should be good. All right, so we looked at Buffalo. They won the whole thing that year. Let's do what I always have to do, which is look at my Cleveland Browns. I have to find them. They had a good year that year, too, which I was really not buying it because the Browns had a good year. I really wanted this season of this one player. Plays for San Diego. And the Browns actually were really good. And in fact, the funny thing, I think Jim Brown, where they at? Jim Brown had, and let me find it. Jim Brown had like an amazing year by yards, but it's how many yards ahead of the next person he was. So if we go rushing, look at this. Jim Brown had 1544. The next highest player had 867, Gale Sayers. Like he almost doubled second place. That is unbelievable. So I'm going to definitely play with the Browns, even though I'm more interested in the AFL. But if I look at Cleveland, I go back here. We got anybody I like, anybody I know. Let's see. There's Jim Brown. He's a fullback 5. And look at those K numbers. So if you roll a K with him, which is going to be 11, 33, or 66, it's basically just 1s and 2s on all the high numbers. That's amazing. Actually, it's 1s, 2s, 15, 16, 17. I see 1, 2, 3 18s, 4 18s on the worst numbers, 32, 34, 54, 52, and 61. So I see 5 and 23. So I see 6 18s, 43. There's 7. So there's 7 18s, but you're getting a lot of yards if you roll a K number for Jim Brown. Who are their receivers? Gary Collins is a receiver. He's actually a 5 on passing situations and a 4 on rushing situations. That's pretty. He's also he's the kickoff guy. He's actually the field goal kicker. I didn't know that. Look at those low numbers. It's all 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's pretty amazing. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else that I know here? Bill Glass. I've heard of him, even though he was not very good. He's a 4-3, I guess, on defensive end. So he's pretty good against the pass, I guess. Ernie Green. There's Lou the Toe. So he's also a KA. That's puzzling. So there's Lou the Toe. He's pretty good. He was born 101 years ago. Nice. Let's see. Gene Hickerson. I've heard of him. He's a guard 4. Pretty good player. There's got to be some wide receivers that I recognize. There's Leroy Kelly. Leroy Kelly's only a 2. I think this had to be early. Yeah, he's only 23 years old. So this was early in his career. Oops. Let's see. Anybody else? Who was Frank Ryan the quarterback? Yeah, he's a quarterback 4. There he is. So there's Frank Ryan, quarterback 4. Dick Shafrath, I've heard of him. He's a 5 offensive lineman. Pretty good player. There's Paul Warfield. Was he young? Yeah, he was 23 also. He was 22 when the season started. He's only a 2 in this thing, but he's an A. That's funny. He's a 2, but he's an A receiver. And that's it for the Browns. Anybody else you want to look at? Yeah, let's look at some of these other teams. I'll get to the NFL. I'll get to that at a later date. Let's look at San Diego. That's who I want to talk about. San Diego has amazingly all these good players. In fact, let's go here, and let's go back to the AFL, and let's just look at the leaders. So if you look at passing yards, the leader is John Hadel, and that is their starting quarterback. If we look at rushing, in second place, I believe it's second place. Oh, no, in first place is Paul Lowe. That's their starting running back. And if you look at Receiving, this is the guy that I bought this whole set for. Total yards, Lance Allworth, a.k.a. Bambi. Where's number 19? Great number. He was, not only was he first in receiving yards at 1602, he was first by almost 400 yards. Like, he was the Jim Brown treatment for receivers on this side. So I'm really excited to play with this team. But I love Lance Allworth. I'm a huge fan of a guy I've never seen play live. I can't wait to play with him. Where's he at? There he is. Bambi. They didn't even put his nickname on here. I even bought a San Diego Chargers Lance Allworth t-shirt that's on its way to my house. Here he is. Lance Allworth. He's an EB. He's an EB5. He's an A7. Like, I'm just excited to play with him. Went to Arkansas, 6'1", 184. I'm just excited to play with him. But if we look, again, there's John Hadel, quarterback 4. Then you've got Paul Lowe, halfback 5. All right, so he led the league in rushing. Then you have Allworth. You got this guy, Keith Lincoln. Let's see if Keith Lincoln makes the rushing leaders here. He's the fullback. Let's see where he is for rushing. I have no idea how many yards he had. Oh, there he is. He's 15th, 74 for. Okay, so wait, hold on. Oh no, he's 14th. He only had 302 yards rushing, but he was 4. Wow, that's not very many. But there's only 18. So, and then there's this guy. I have no idea who this guy is until I opened up this pack and looked at his cards. Speedy Duncan. He's a cornerback 4. He intercepts passes. He gets quarterback sacks. He's also the TA and the OA, the TB and the OA. Like, this guy must run faster than anyone ever in the history of man. Because holy cow. And his name's Speedy. I feel like his parents named him Speedy, I'm assuming, which immediately tells you he's going to be fast. If he'd have been a slow guy, that would have been funny. But yeah, I got to look into that guy a little bit because I'm excited to see who he is. So the question now is, who are they playing in week 1? Well, that's where it gets kind of fun. They're going to play against the Denver Broncos, who I just played with in my last game. And the funny thing about Denver is, if we go back to the stats, your second leading rusher is Cookie Gilchrist, right? So now we've got Paul Lowe and Cookie Gilchrist. If we look at receiving, your leading catch guy is Lionel Taylor, 85, 16 more than Lance Allworth. So they had some players on their team too. The weird thing is, when I looked at their roster today, I've done San Diego's, but I haven't done Denver's yet. But if you look at San Diego, they're a 42 offense and a 39 defense. Denver's going to be like a 34 offense and a 29 defense. It's going to be a huge, huge difference in the defensive cards for both teams. And but yet Denver has these leading players, this leading rusher and this leading receiver. But if you look at their quarterbacks are all 2s. Mickey Slaughter is a 2. I think he started this game and had like 4 touchdowns, but overall he was 1-6. 6 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Like, he was not good. And then the rest of their guys, who were their? I don't know who their other quarterbacks were. Here we go. John McCormick was 3-3, and Jackie Lee was 0-1. So those are the 3 quarterbacks they have. I think Mickey Slaughter played in this game. In fact, let's go look at it here. How do I get to week 1? There we go. Week 1. And this is going to be San Diego and Denver. San Diego wins this game 34-31. Denver comes out to a pretty big lead early on. Yeah, Denver's up 14-3, but San Diego turns it on in the second quarter. And a lot of scoring. This Bob Scarpito for the Broncos. I think he's a wide receiver 4. He had 7 catches he had 5 for 108 and 2. Lance Allworth had 7 for 211 and 1. So I'm excited to play this game. So look for this as the next game I play. And probably tomorrow, I'll probably play at least the first quarter, probably the first half at least. And I hope you enjoy it. Again, it's the 1965 set. You get the NFL and the AFL together. I'm going to play a bunch of the AFL, some of the NFL just to play some of the Browns. But you've got guys like Johnny Unitas. This is the other thing that made me really want to get this team. It's funny, I was sitting at a Buffalo Wild Wings last Friday, 1 week ago, looking at this. It's when I ordered it. But if we look at the NFL, how do I get to the NFL? I know there's a link here somewhere for NFL. Let's see. There it is, 1965 NFL. If you look at the leaders in some of the in the NFL, some of the names. I mean, in the passing side, you've got Fran Tarkington, Johnny Unitas, Earl Morrall, Don Meredith, Sonny Jurgensen, Norm Snead, Bart Starr, Frank Ryan. Like, these are guys, Roman Gabriel, these are all guys I know. So I'm really excited to play. Then if we go over to rushing, you've got Jim Brown, Gale Sayers, Jim Taylor. What are some other names here? John David Crow, I know. Lenny Moore, obviously, I know. Dick Hoke, I know. Like, there's a lot of good names here, too. And if we look at receiving, what makes me laugh about receiving is 20th place had 41 catches. Like, that would never happen in this NFL. But you've got Bobby Mitchell, Tommy McDonald, Raymond Berry, Gary Collins, Bob Hayes, Jimmy Orr. These are guys I know. I'm really excited to play this. So thanks for watching, everyone. Keep an eye out for tomorrow, Saturday. You'll see at least the first quarter and probably the first half come up. And maybe I'll try to finish this game Sunday. And then I'm going to dive into a couple more 65 games. I'm going to dive into my 1980 set, my 1972 set, my what's the other one I have? 1980, 1972, 1958. I have one more game in 1958 week 1. That week will be done. And then I'm going to dive into that for like a month or so, then get back to 1989 after that. Again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll talk to y'all later.